think corporate demolished the street from a social media standpoint. As we listen to music, we look at stuff like, we from Philly, from the East Coast, so if it's considered that you lying about getting girls, or you lying about ramen, or you lying about money or something, like you automatically disqualified from anything. And social media kind of, I don't think it's even that bad anymore. If somebody accuse you of stuff like that, and you just keep moving and you still blow up, it don't even matter. So I think social media is something that I didn't know was that powerful until I saw that situation with Drake and Meek Mill.
Well said, man. Well said, brother.
I think for me, and it's funny you mentioned about the whole Drake Meek thing. I don't know if I fully put it on social media, but I mean, you can see the power of social media. I looked at it more so that you had Meek come out and put everything out there about Drake, and have facts, but didn't capitalize on or didn't keep that momentum moving. Because he went that whole spiel, whole rant and raving. To me, in a sense, social media killed hip hop beef. I would even say 50 in a lot of ways killed hip hop beef because it became comical after a while. But I mean, you had a situation where Meek said all this stuff. Drake came out with the first disc, which nobody cared about. It was sounding like a love song more than anything. And then he came out with Back to Back. And granted, Back to Back wasn't even the hardest track, but it got to the point. And then you almost waited for a week for Meek to respond. Came with the Undertaker gong. So when I first heard the gongs, I'm like, all right, it must be something serious. It must be some ether type level. And then there was his ass cheeks. And the thing was, he had all the facts, but he didn't capitalize. It's almost like he underestimated his opponent, regardless of co-writers. And then you look at Kanye. To me, when Kanye came out, I think that's when you saw the transition where people weren't really concerned about if you wrote all your rhymes. Because when you saw a lot of Kanye's album, especially his earlier works, I mean, Consequence had a heavy hand in it, Rhyme Fest had a heavy hand in it, and you see the difference once those two were out of the inner circle, as far as his main writers are concerned. So when you already knew about Kanye doing it, and then people kept still putting him up as top MC, that's why I wasn't so surprised when Drake was being quote-unquote exposed that nobody really cared, because it was almost like we already been conditioned now to say, oh, well, everybody got co-writers, whether it's for a hook or a bridge, which I can understand, but when you actually have somebody writing part of your bars, to me, that's when you start taking the MC title away. And that's when you could go back saying that's a rapper now. Mm-hmm. Or just a regular artist. Because now you have a co-writer, you have somebody doing this. Now, I can't knock you for being an artist then, but as far as MC, I can't say you're a top MC yet. So I can't say Drake's a top MC if I know somebody's helping them work the rhymes. Right. I can say, okay, he's a top rapper or a top artist in respect. To me, 2015, more so. And it goes back to the question we were talking about earlier. I see a shift of consciousness coming back to a shift of we need to care about what we're saying, caring about what our substance is coming about. On not only on the underground level, like with Joey Badass, but also on the mainstream level, And people are starting to realize that, and it's starting to gain momentum to me, and it's starting to get even sales wise. So, like I said, Cole went platinum, no features, no promotion. That's off the strength of itself. So I think people now notice that with the power of social media that I can survive now without having the major backing now, because you can be an independent artist now. I mean, you already have people like Tech Nine already doing it, but I think more people realize that I don't need a Sony, I don't need a Def Jam, I don't need a Universal to be relevant to push 1 million units.
About you, Ray?
Do y'all think that y'all be dumbing down? I'll be thinking this sometime, like now compared to like 15 years ago or something. I expected like if you wasn't spitting like AZ or Jadakiss or something with just bars every 2 seconds, I mean, you didn't even get nobody bought the tape, and you didn't. But do you think now that we expect less? So I was talking to a couple people, and the stuff that they was impressed with, I'm like, yo, I'm not even. It's so average to me, and the response I thought with Meek and Drake came out with was average. It was like. But the way people was talking about with Drake, I'm like, yeah, that was average to me. That wasn't like when D-Block was dissing Jay-Z or something like that, or when they was dissing 50 Cent, that was like, yo, that's ridiculous. Or when, Mobb Deep was talking about Jay-Z back in the day and stuff like that, or Beans was talking about Mobb, that was like, we was looking forward to that like every Friday. Like, it was something new coming out. But I was like, this bar was kind of set a little low, or maybe I'm just getting old.
I'm gonna let Ray. I'm gonna let Ray answer that one.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the simple fact that I'm going to add on to what you originally said, Armand, about social media, like impact, especially in 2015, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram, not so much Facebook, those have become the new outlets for Disney. You know, especially on Twitter, you know, especially on Instagram. So when people are more entertained by that, and then you're finally actually getting quote-unquote diss records, whether it's from Drake, whether it was from Meek, whoever, Tory Lanez, apparently somebody that's dissing Drake now. You know, I think the fact that they're just getting a record, you know, from this artist, that artist, the mediocrity is accepted. You know, because the higher level of entertainment is actually coming from social media. I agree with you. Like, I heard Drake's record, I heard Meek's record. These were average. Even, like you were saying, Jadakiss, when he was dissing 50, even those were just mixtape, you know, clue throwaways or whatever, and even those were harder than the modern day beats, quote unquote. And another thing, I personally believe, maybe I'm a little cynical, I think a lot of these beats are just really, really manufactured. Like, at least, you know, 10, 15 years ago, like with 50 and Ja, that was a real beef that came from outside, like, you know, from the streets, and then they just both brought it into the music industry and decided to make some money off it. These days, everybody is friends. I really wouldn't be surprised if there's moves being made behind the scenes, you know, like, for example, to make Drake look tougher, you know, battle Meek Mill, you know, or battle Common or whatever, you know, just throw these little diss records out there or whatever. Both sides understand that it's about to happen, and it lends a certain amount of perceived credibility to the average listener. Again, I could just be very, very cynical, but I just don't feel a certain element of authenticity in these so-called diss records. You know, think about when we heard Ether, Takeover, Tupac Hit 'Em Up, you know, all these records. You know, there was a feeling to it where you knew whether it was just to be competitive or even slightly threatening, there was a feel to them that you even feel to this day, whether you existed in that era or not. And that's not something that I get from, you know, a Drake Charge It Up record or Meek and whatever Undertaker song, you know, he put out over the Undertaker beat. You know, it really feels just too manufactured for me. Everybody is more into the memes, Instagram and Twitter replies. That's the new diss record. That's what I think was largely present in 2015.
Very well said, man. I mean, you covered a lot of ground, Ray. I agree, man. I agree with all y'all said. Even Meek, you know, I feel like he got it in the tank to really go in, but even his stuff was just very average. You know, even the last one he put out, not so much was pretty good, but then he put out like 3 other songs after that. So I don't really know where it is at this point. But I would agree, man. I would definitely agree with all y'all said. So as we like kind of dip into this review, so what was your most, or what do you guys think was the most slept on project for 2015? And I'll start with Zoe. Zoe, you start us off, brother.
Well, I'm just gonna say Game Documentary 2, just for the simple fact I still haven't listened to it yet.
Classic, brother.
Oh, I'm not debating that. I mean, if I listened to it, he probably would have been in my top 5 for the albums, but I've been waiting for my MP3 player. You know, and I'm about to, as we speak, I'm probably going to be sending a complaint to eBay because the dude had my MP3 player fixed back in January 12th. Asked me for my PayPal information. Sent him my PayPal information. He has yet to charge me. And I saw him MP3, because MP3 players, I mean, I like when I work out, I need some music on. When I'm in my zone. So that's the most time when I listen to the music. So I need something to get me amped. And it's like, if I don't have no music to get me amped, because by the time I get off work, I'm going to watch maybe a couple of shows I have on my itinerary, and then I'm hitting the sheets. So the weekends and workouts are really only time I'm really indulging in the music. And that's the only time I have right now. So, yeah, games is what I'm looking out for right now, for albums I need to check out.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ray.
Okay. It's all good, man. It's all good. What about you, Ray?
If we're talking underrated, and Renzo's heard me talk about this album all of last year, I'm going Ludacris' Ludaversal. I actually think Game's album has actually been getting a lot of good reception from people. You know, it's been getting great ratings. You know,
Right.
But an album like Ludaverso, right? Anybody who knows me well enough knows I'm a long-time Ludacris fan. I'm not a blind fan. I know when he was connecting, and I know when he wasn't. But I've been saying, you know, he's had 5 years to put this album together. And the big knock with him is he kind of had like that Busta Rhymes element where his albums would be, you know, it would be like there'd be some filler or whatever. On this album, right, just on the standard edition, I think on the 13 track, you know, this album wasn't even like 60 minutes. I think it was like 45, 50 minutes. He just got right to it.
Right.
And I think it's his best album since like Chicken and Beer, which if you remember had, you know, like Stand Up on it, Splash Waterfalls. The only thing missing from this album was like hit singles, but he had been trying to put them out for the last couple of years, and they were just duds. He left them off the album. He went into the studio, and he just made a rap album. From the intro to the last track, he gave you bars, he gave you the flow that made him famous. His delivery, you know, just the wittiness that he has, all of that was present on this album, and I didn't expect it to be that good. Like, I know if I'm just listening to an album just because I'm just kind of a fan, but this is an album, even the beats, the whole album is consistent. It's a nice cohesive effort, and I mean, it got a lot of burn from me, so I would tell anybody, you know, if you're going to listen to an album once, just check it out, listen to Ludaverso. It's a quality project.
And you know what, man? I heard everything you said. I heard that, but I just didn't check it out. So,
you haven't been able to hear it yet.
I haven't even been able to hear it.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. It's got all the right. For someone like him to get this late in his career and to put out an album like that, I was definitely surprised, man. There's no forcing it. You know, he didn't force it. You know, he clearly still has it. Like, it just took him 5 years to put it together.
Word. Good pick, man. I mean, I'm definitely a Luda fan myself, and I kind of like Left Thing for Dead, kind of in a way. This, you know.
Yeah, because like Battle of the Sexes was like that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you, but I would say if you're a Ludacris fan, this is his best album since Chicken and Beer, easily.
Okay. All right, man. So you know, for me, I could be cheating with this, but I got to go with the group called The Internet. They're classified as hip hop, electro, bass, or something. But they have the lead artist is a singer, so it's not all the way hip hop, but they have live instrumentations. And this group just took me off my heels, man. They're all shoot from Tyler, the creator of the Our Future Camp, which I really didn't know much about. But their album Ego Death came out this year, and excellent album, man, excellent LP. And like I said, they're kind of infusions of hip hop, R&B, but I feel like they were definitely slept on in 2015. I still don't even hear people talking about them like I think they should. You know what I'm saying?
Brandon, I've heard of The Internet, so I actually had a question for you regarding them.
Yeah.
Was this your first album of theirs that you heard?
Ego Death, no. Actually, the first album I heard was the joint before that.
The one I heard is called Purple Naked Ladies, right?
Yeah, Purple Naked Ladies. Yep.
Yeah, my homegirl put me on. I think she's actually listening to this. And, that was a dope album. I can see why you chose them. They do have a nice mix of, like, the rap, the R&B. They have a nice sound. Would you say that this album, like, you liked it better than that last one?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, but they, you know, if the first one is Illmatic, this joint It Was Written. You know what I mean? It ain't, you know.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, everybody wins.
right. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, like I saw them live, and it was like you got 30-year-olds and you got freaking 17-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like so like.
Wait, when did you see them?
I saw them. They came to the Trocadero.
Oh, what up? Weekdays concert?